company.
Tonight on Ctv3 News, all eyes on major Hurricane Beryl projected to make landfall in Belize by Thursday night. Also, Nemo briefs the nation on the Category 4 hurricane. Residents are asked to take precautions and make all necessary preparations. We'll also tell you about the shooting incident that claimed the life of a 59-year-old Orangeoqueño and also left one person injured. And a family from Carmalita is left homeless after a fire devours their residence. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Monday, July 1st, 2024.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize!
Hey there, smart thinkers! We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't leave this plan. I can't leave this plan.
Good evening. With your news also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7, I am Joanna Rodriguez. Hurricane Beryl roared across the Windward Islands today as an extremely dangerous Category 4, delivering catastrophic winds, intense rainfall, and a life-threatening storm surge. Beryl made landfall shortly after 11 a.m. on Grenada's Curacao Island in the Caribbean Sea with max winds of 150 miles per hour. It is the strongest known hurricane to pass through the Grenadines, according to data from NOAA that goes back to 1851. If it continues on its projected path, Hurricane Beryl, nearing Category 5 strength, is expected to make impact with Belize during Thursday night heading into Friday. This was the announcement that came out of the NEMO press conference held at 1:30 this afternoon. Chief Meteorologist Ronald Gordon predicted that while there is still a high level of uncertainty, based on projections, Beryl will make landfall between southern Stan Creek to the northern Yucatan Peninsula, with the eye wall passing anywhere in that area.
Our update as of midday on potentially catastrophic major hurricane Beryl was that it was moving west-northwestward at 20 miles per hour away from the Windward Islands after having affected those islands this morning. The projected forecast for this hurricane is for it to move on a west-northwestward track across the southeastern Caribbean Sea for the remainder of the day, Tuesday, enter the central Caribbean Sea just south of Jamaica around Wednesday, and then move into the northwestern Caribbean Sea on Thursday. It is currently a Category 4 hurricane, almost at the strength of a Category 5 with 150 miles per hour. The forecast calls for it to weaken as it enters the central Caribbean Sea because it is forecast to encounter some wind shear, which will disrupt its development and result in weakening, and that's the official forecast. In terms of the projected path, the system currently is moving, as I said, west-northwestward. It will encounter a high-pressure ridge at some point that will develop over the Gulf of Mexico, forcing a more westward track. Just to make it simple for the public, a ridge is like a mountain. The hurricane cannot move over a mountain, it tries to move around it. So that ridge will be blocking the system from moving farther northward and push it more on a westerly track after it moves near Jamaica. Now, there is still a lot of uncertainty. This is a 4 to 5 day prediction that carries a lot of uncertainty. As you can see from the projected cone, there is a hashed area near Belize indicating that there is a high level of uncertainty of where the system will be. However, the projected cone shows it anywhere from southern Belize, let's say from around the Stann Creek district, up to the northern Yucatan Peninsula. That means the center of the hurricane could be anywhere within that cone at that particular time, which is Friday morning. Intensity is also difficult to predict. The forecast is for it to weaken to a Category 1 hurricane, more or less, by the time it reaches our area. However, we do know that intensity forecasts can be very problematic. And looking at the situation, the wind shear is not that strong. So we do caution our residents to be aware and to do not take it lightly, to be very prepared for the system.
While Beryl is expected to weaken to a Category 1 or 2 hurricane by the time it makes landfall in Belize, Gordon is advising residents to take precautions and make all necessary preparations and evacuations by Wednesday.
But certainly if the system moves within the projected path, we will likely experience some impact from the system, including strong winds and heavy rainfall, which we'll be able to fine-tune as the week goes on, as we get more information. I want to remind the public that the forecast models are updated every 6 hours, and they are done so for a precise reason. There is new information coming in every 6 hours, updating these models. So you will see the track shift from time to time, and that's because of new information. So we need to monitor the situation very carefully at this moment and be prepared if we need to take action. We are looking at every single update. I cannot precisely say when, but we do know that the closer we get to Friday, the more certain we are going to be if there is certain to know if there will be landfall on the country. We are projected that by tomorrow afternoon, with the update that comes out at 3 p.m., we will have an idea if Belize will be directly impacted by the system or whether or not it will not be impacted directly.
And while there is uncertainty where Beryl's projected path is concerned, Gordon and his team should have a clearer picture by 3 p.m. tomorrow.
If indeed the system makes landfall in that area, of course the winds, the stronger winds, storm surge and so forth will be to the north of that area. Again, I must repeat, that is a big if. There is uncertainty. We have seen that the forecast track has shifted several times during the past few, at least past 24 hours. At one point it was showing more the northern portions of Yucatan, then it shifted south to include Belize once more, and that fluctuation indicates uncertainty. The models are not resolving the steering flow properly, so there is a high level of uncertainty, so we cannot precisely say where it will make landfall at this time. And I want to add one last thing to that, is that even if the system makes landfall north of Belize, we will be impacted by rainfall, at least. The entire Atlantic and Caribbean basin are supercharged with hot water. So we have looked at the figures were about 2, sometimes up to almost 3 degrees Celsius above normal in terms of temperature. And like you rightly said, that is the energy that these systems need to fuel them. And that is precisely why the system was able to intensify so rapidly. And to add to that, of course, the prediction was going for an above average season. And as you rightly mentioned, this hurricane is unprecedented in the fact that it is the first Category 4 hurricane in history, in recorded history for the month of June. So certainly it is uncharted waters in terms of that area.
Persons living in low-lying areas are advised to design an evacuation plan immediately. The National Emergency Management Organization will activate on Tuesday morning in anticipation of Hurricane Beryl. At 7:30 tomorrow morning, the Ministry of Blue Economy and Disaster Risk Management will host another conference updating the nation on Hurricane Beryl. Belizeans are encouraged to tune in. Hurricane Beryl is expected to remain a dangerous storm as it moves through the Caribbean. As the storm continues to turn west-northwestward, NEMO is preparing in the case of a national response.
All district committees have met today across the country. These include even on San Pedro and Key Cocker. As of tomorrow morning, as of 9 a.m., NEMO itself will be activated. We are meeting, all of the NEMO operational committees will be meeting starting tomorrow in order for us to start to develop and to update and implement the plans that are necessary for the arrival of this storm. We will continue to do preparations across the country. We are ensuring that stocks at our warehouses are updated and that we are preparing for the arrival of this on sometime on Friday. We continue to encourage the public to prepare. We highly encourage people who are living in low-lying areas or areas that are flood-prone to consider early evacuation, to start moving in advance as this develops. As the chief meteorologist had said, there's a large area of uncertainty, but we cannot wait until it's too late. And so we encourage early preparation as soon as get these things done as soon as possible. So for your own businesses, for your families, start to make those preparations in advance. Start to get your things. Start to implement those plans. And if you don't have a plan, you need to start doing this as soon as possible. We are prepared across the country. As the days go by, we will know more with more certainty where this hurricane will be impacting, and then we'll be able to provide more and more precise information and updates as the days continue. Thank you.
In preparation, public officers are being called to action.
Okay, so as you know, NEMO is the entire government service, and so in terms of manpower, we will be mobilizing as necessary. This includes all public officers, all Coast Guard, all BDF, and including volunteers. And so whoever we need, we will be getting that manpower wherever it is needed in the country. The shelter list is on our NEMO Facebook page and our website as well. You can download it from there. The shelters we have inspected all of those shelters. You will find that there's a Category 1, Category 2 list. And so depending on the intensity of the storm, we will be opening those shelters as necessary. And so we will be, through your district offices, you will be provided information as to which shelter will be open and when those will be opened.
It is important to identify the closest hurricane shelter to your location. An entire list is available on the NEMO's website and social pages. Tonight, family and friends are mourning the loss of 59-year-old Norman Gillett, who was gunned down inside his yard on Monkey River Street here in Orange Walk Town over the weekend. Reports are that the elderly man was returning home shortly after midnight on Sunday when he was caught in the middle of a gunfight and received fatal injuries. A second individual was also injured during this incident. Police have since detained several individuals in relation to this latest murder. Norma Ruiz reports.
There was a murder reported over the weekend here in Orange Walk Town, the second since the start of the year. The latest victim is 60-year-old Norman Gillett, who was shot and killed on Sunday as he arrived at his home located on Monkey River Street. The exact details surrounding this incident is still unclear at this time. However, what we have been able to ascertain from speaking to family members and neighbors in the area is that the elderly man may not have been the target and was merely caught in the middle of a personal dispute between two other individuals. According to reports, there were several individuals socializing at Gillett's residence on the night of the shooting, including his son, Simeon Gillett. Shortly after midnight, the elderly Gillett arrived home and was walking into the yard when this red Ford Escape drove in front of the yard and one person exited the vehicle. That person reportedly opened fire at the group of persons, causing fatal injuries to Norman Gillett. During the commotion, another occupant of the Ford Escape, identified as Leon Tasher, also received gunshot injuries to the left shoulder. Tasher was taken to the NRH where he remains in a stable condition and under police guard.
Okay, on Sunday, the 30th day of June 2024, police responded to a shooting incident at Monkey River Street in Orange Walktown. Upon arrival, they learned that two male persons had been shot. They were identified as Norman Gillett and Leon Tasher and were taken for medical treatment. Thereafter, police visited the hospital where they learned that Norman Gillett had passed away. Yard at the address along with other persons when an SUV vehicle pulled up. A person came out of the vehicle, fired several shots towards the direction, causing the fatal injuries to Norman Gillett and the injuries to Leon Tasher. The vehicle involved in the shooting has been recovered and they have persons detained pending investigation.
Tonight, as family and friends prepare to lay Norman Gillett to rest, one of his neighbors remembers him fondly as an overall good friend.
He message nobody. He just got the work, come back, and that's it. Good ballet. When I tell you, good. He start to end ballet, feed and picnic good. Whatever he bring for them kids, take it because it's good ballet. Message nobody. Work and come, go back, work and go back. In that message nobody.
Okay, so
Yeah, you go together. Yeah.
at this time, we understand that several persons are in police custody following the murder of Norman Gillett. Reporting for Ctv3 News, Norma Ruiz.
Our newsroom understands that several other persons have been detained in connection with this recent murder as police are investigating an incident at the Northern Regional Hospital. We understand that following the shooting death of Norman Gillett and admission of Leon Tasher to the NRH, several persons barged into the facility. One of the individuals was armed with a knife and attempted to attack persons who were at the hospital for what we understand to be retaliation for Gillett's death. The incident, we understand, was witnessed by medical personnel who felt unsafe until police arrived to arrest the situation. Those persons, along with a black Chevy Cruze, tonight remain at the Orange Walk police station. An official investigation is currently ongoing by the NRH as well as the police department regarding this matter. A family of 6 from the community of Carmalita here in the Orange Walk district are tonight homeless after a fire destroyed their home and all their belongings on Sunday night. The incident happened shortly before 11 p.m. while Kiera Ordonez was at her sister's house located a few houses away from her home situated on the Sawmill Road. Ordonez says she was notified of the incident and ran home. However, by the time she arrived, there was nothing she could do but watch as the blaze claimed her entire life's work. A very shaken and emotional Ordonez told us what happened.
I wasn't at home at the moment. I was on the street at my sister's, and I was informed that my house, was on fire. When I got here, it was just starting at the back, one of my daughter's room, and one of my other neighbor, he was coming from work, and he saw the fire, and he got out his car to assist, and he went in the house, but all he could have saved was the TV. The fire was very strong and rapid and nothing we could do.
Do you know what caused the fire?
No, I don't know. I really don't know what caused the fire. No.
You guys had electricity and
Yes, we had electricity, but I don't know. Because the room that it looks like it started from does not have electricity in there. That room is for my daughter, but she hasn't finished, you know. It's not wired. She's not even using the room. So, I don't know.
Having the need to start from scratch, any help which can be afforded to them in the form of clothes, food, drinking water, or household items would be highly appreciated.
We've been living here 11 years.
And how many of you living here?
6. I'm the only adult. I'm the only parent. Then I have 2 adult daughters and 2 sons, 2 minors, and my granddaughter, who's also a minor. She's a baby. She's 1. Well, at the moment I'm receiving help. I have someone that is helping with, you know, getting back so I just need help with the inside, the appliances, you know. Anything would be appreciated at this time, anything. At this time, I think we'll be staying at my mom's. She has a house down the street. So I guess we'll see what goes on. Yeah. Because my other brother and sister lives there also, so yeah. Yeah, we'll try to make something work, you know.
Anyone who would like to assist Kiara Ordonez and her family rebuild following this terrible incident can contact her at phone number 632-6855 or through the Carmalita Village Council. Coming up next, the business sector is cautioned against price gouging. Stay tuned.
The Orange Walk Clinical Lab Summer Promotion 2024 is here. Get your summer promotion on glucose, cholesterol, triglyceride, and hemoglobin for only $20. Also, fantastic promotions on prostate PSA for only $50. We also have other packages on promotion. We also provide DNA paternity testing. We take this opportunity to inform the general public in the Orange Walk District that we are an approved NHI lab service provider. So for all your NHI lab tests, just visit your NHI medical provider and visit us at the Orange Walk Clinical Laboratory. We take care of all your NHI lab tests. Results are provided the same day. Come visit us on number 20 San Antonio Road, Orange Walk Town. Call for details at 322-0423 or 600-2727. Call 630-1479. Remember, don't wait for symptoms. Check your health today. The Orange Walk Clinical Laboratory.
All eyes are tonight on Hurricane Beryl as it potentially makes its way towards the Caribbean in the coming days. With the threat of this powerful storm looming in our midst, Belizeans are advised to make necessary preparations. During this time of emergency, there is also reports of unscrupulous shopkeepers and hardware store owners raising the prices of their goods. As the government continues its preparations for the days ahead, Belizeans are advised to remain vigilant and report any case of price gouging at any level.
In terms of the price gouging, it's really important to keep an eye on this. We know there's potential for this to happen. Like you said, it's something that needs to be policed, and it's something that the government really will have to keep an eye on to ensure that we're protecting people. So there's no advantage being taken off as we as a country start to make those preparations. And so whenever we find that out, of course, the information that needs to be taken up to the necessary channels for action.
Yeah, well, sorry, if I see price.
In a release from the Office of the Prime Minister, the business sector is cautioned against price gouging, adding, quote, "There is never a time to gouge our Belizean public, and certainly not in the face of what may be a devastating natural disaster. There will most certainly be repercussions based on reports of gouging. We ask all Belizeans to remain vigilant and monitor the airwaves as Hurricane Beryl makes its way westward into the Caribbean, end quote. We will be having an interview with the Controller of Supplies on Tuesday's newscast regarding an investigation which has been launched on the issue of price gouging during this time of emergency. A traffic accident occurred in the center of Corozal town earlier today. It happened on 4th Avenue, one of the busiest routes in town, and it stalled traffic for about 30 minutes. When we arrived at the scene, the driver of this gray vehicle appeared to be heavily intoxicated. We understand that the individual was driving and swerving on the avenue at a high speed, making it impossible for the driver of this black pickup truck, Eldon Cruz, to avoid collision. Here is what he told us.
I was coming to this side, and then I see the next guy. The guy was coming in a high-speed man. I don't know. I just tried to keep from the crashing, and he come direct to me, but I could not avoid that.
Parece que él está ebrio.
Parece, no sé, la verdad no sé.
¿Te lastima alguna parte del
Solo
cuerpo?
mi estómago un poquito, pero no siento mucho, pero ya ahí está el dolor.
¿Solo tú estabas en el vehículo?
Yo y mi esposa veníamos.
¿Ella no se lastimó?
No se pues un poquito la asusto, pero nada más.
Y el chofer parece que tampoco se lastimó del gray car.
No sé. Vamos a chequear. Vamos a checar por ahí.
While no one was severely injured, drivers are reminded that there is a speed limit while driving within town. Over the weekend, the country experienced torrential rains, which caused flooding in several parts of the country as a tropical wave approached the Western Caribbean. The weather system left a number of yards and homes underwater, especially in Corozal. Reporter Elmer Cornejo was out during the storm and filed the following report.
This is the result of hours of torrential rains. While the Belize Meteorological Service emitted advice on the intensity of rainfall expected and probability of flash floods, many were unprepared for the rising waters. During the weekend, we visited several communities including Chula Vista, Louisville, Concepcion, and Libertad in Corozal. In these areas, water flowed forcefully through homes. In one instance, a BEL meter that was clamped to a lamppost was almost swallowed by the rising waters. The Corozal Free Zone was also flooded within hours, as was the Princess Casino at the northern border.
All of the years where we lived, right in Libertad, in my house, my yard, first time the water crossed the road. So much water come that the first time we crossed the road, that's why we come and circle to see what happened, because how they crossed the road. Because that's the first time, I don't got 63 years, and the first time I see that the water got so high to cross the road.
I noticed that your house is on a hill,
Yeah.
but around it is inundated. Your neighbors are underwater too.
Up to here.
Really?
Yeah.
But-
Right now, yes, up to here, right now.
Uh-huh.
But all of them times when we were rain up, yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, it's different now. The water come higher.
So
now.
something is wrong.
So then, so they pick it all time and go on the deal.
Uh-huh.
Swim and do that, it's not good when they do that because all of the sewage and the tile gets full up. So all of that mess come out and then picking it, still the beer.
You were telling me of one of the culverts that is closed, that is stuck.
Yeah, by that's in road as well, come out. Then, by the cemetery viejo, they know a culvert where they dig to the Catholic. Catholic, with the water come out on the Catholic, Adventist and Methodist come out there. But before you pull, the water stop, sorry, everything come up high.
For residents, it was a scene never witnessed before. With the prediction of an above-normal hurricane season, the weekend's torrential rains and flash floods should teach us a lesson of preparedness, says Fernando Botes.
To say that, please, Ramirez come to the hotel and make it come check them things. Please come and see Aiden, because Aiden at the front at the end, he's supposed to come and pick up everything, but tomorrow.
While we tried obtaining information on the response and review of the affected areas by Nemo Corazol, we were unable to do so as our request for an interview was declined. As a side note to viewers and listeners, the hurricane season brings to the limelight that despite technology, Mother Nature remains unpredictable, so be prepared. Elmer Cornejo, Ctv3 News.
Northern Belize has experienced intense rainfall over the last few days, causing flash floods. With the threat of a possible impact of Hurricane Beryl to Belize, the forecast is for more rainfall. Principal hydrologist at the Hydrology Department today provided details as to what this means for the north, especially after the rising waters that flooded communities in the Corozal district.
Just to update you, the forecast for the north is still for flooding conditions to prevail. That is caused mainly by the excessive rainfall that we've received over the past couple weeks. We're not seeing any riverine flooding, which is different from precipitation-related flooding. But there is the possibility that we do get riverine flooding from our neighbors. Guatemala and Mexico having floods, as we've seen with Chetumal. The same time Chetumal was flooding, Belize in the north was also flooding. But more recently, the flooding that we're seeing in San Roman, San Pedro, up in the north, Progreso, it's based on excessive rainfall. And so that is termed urban flooding. With any additional rainfall that we can get, I would say with a minimum of 6 inches more, we can see a combination of excessive rainfall coupled with riverine flooding. And so you might be saying, well, you're using a lot of words. What does this mean? It just means we will have flooding conditions for longer periods, because what we call localized flooding from excessive rainfall, that water eventually runs off into the rivers. But if the rivers are full, where is it going to go? And then we also have to factor in tidal events. When there's a high tide, the water basically remains stagnant, or it starts to fan out or spread out. And in areas that are not prone to flooding before, they now become flooded. So there are a lot of factors that we need to consider in terms of flooding, and that's why we work very closely with the Met Service and with NEMO. And ourselves, we have to monitor the models as well that the Met Service uses for our flood forecast. In the south, based on our river levels, we have the Kendall, the City River and the Sibun River in the central area right now that are of concern. More so the Sibun River, because it's been reaching bank full and exceeding the banks for quite some days now. And with continued rainfall, not necessarily only from Belize, but with the upcoming rainfall that we see, that will pose another issue, because we're having a hurricane on top of flooding. And so it just compounds the situation.
As we told you, the probability on Beryl making impact anywhere between Cancun, Mexico and Dangriga in Belize increases as the hours go by. The system will cause a major flooding, and the impacts could be even more drastic when the soil already saturated.
Rivers in the north are very flat. For flood waters to run off, we need slope, we need steepness, and we don't have that in neither the Rio Hondo nor the New River. What releases those waters is the Crooked Tree Lagoon. It has a reverse function. Right now, the Belize River is not flooding. So what the Crooked Tree Lagoon does is that the excess river water coming from New River, it's actually emptying into Crooked Tree, and then it makes its way through the Belize River. So that particular system is very critical to flood drainage for us. And so eventually, if the hurricane takes a projected path that it has now and it continues on that path, we might be looking at the Crooked Tree system being flooded because it's releasing those water and eventually going through the Belize River, eventually coming down into Belize City. There's a lot of factors. It's too early, a lot of uncertainty, but there is the high possibility and potential, and so that's what we need to take away from it, that there is the high probability and potential, and we need to be prepared for that.
Following the circulation of a surge of videos and photographs depicting lewd content on social media over the weekend, Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa told reporters this morning that it is a criminal offense by virtue of the Cybercrime Act of 2020 to share and publish videos and photographs of a lewd and indecent nature. Those who have posted or shared such content are urged to remove them immediately and cease further distribution.
We must understand that this is now an offense, a criminal offense by virtue of the Cybercrime Act of 2020. I believe it is Section 15 of the Cybercrime Act, which speaks to sharing and publishing videos, photographs of a lewd and indecent nature with an aim to humiliate individuals. That particular offense under the Cybercrime Act, I believe, carries with it a prison term of 5 years, in addition to a fine, I believe, of $5,000 or $10,000. And so we have to be very mindful of that, because whether you're sharing that by way of Facebook, by way of WhatsApp, something as simple as just hitting the share button on WhatsApp, you become liable to be charged under this Cybercrime Act. And so, yes, you have to look at the person or persons who originally shared this video, but also those individuals who continue to perpetrate the crime by sharing it. And so the offense continues. And so I want to ask members of the public to be respectful. These young ladies have family members. This is very concerning. This is very disturbing. And so we have to be mindful of our society, the type of damage that we are causing, and to be mindful of the fact that this now bears criminal liability.
But what about memes which are also being shared?
So if you are publishing any material, so if you're taking some of that material and making memes with it and then sharing it, you are still continuing to perpetrate that crime. And so those individuals sharing memes are likewise susceptible to be charged. They are likewise offending under the Cybercrime Act because they're using material in order to humiliate. They're using the cyberspace, meaning you're using your devices, whether it's a phone or a computer, to share these memes that are aimed at humiliating individuals. That is an offense. So whether it forms part of the original video or photographs, or it is converted thereafter into a meme, that is still committing an offense. We do have a cybercrime unit that is dedicated to this. It will require, of course, someone coming forward to make a complaint. I know that there are a lot of young ladies who are affected by virtue of the release of these videos, and so any one of them, I want to encourage them to come forward. If it is that they feel offended, if it is that they feel humiliated, that they come forward and make a report, and we will try our very best, the police at the cybercrime unit, to identify those individuals who are sharing, because like I said, it's been shared so many times, so many individuals can be charged for this offense.
Today, Police Commissioner Chester Williams also condemned the people sharing the videos. He shared, and we quote, "It is an offense under the Cyber Act for one to use a computer device to produce or distribute any video or photographs with the intent to humiliate, harm, or subject a person to public ridicule or embarrassment. Those who are therefore engaging in the posting, reposting, or further distribution of these videos or photographs are committing the crime of cyberbullying and can be prosecuted," end of quote. With the law clear on the matter, violators could face significant penalties, including imprisonment. As Hurricane Beryl looms over the Caribbean, Belize's agricultural sector faces a period of uncertainty and potential risk. The Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise is closely monitoring the storm's development and is urging farmers to take proactive measures to safeguard their livelihoods. The current trajectory of the hurricane remains uncertain, making preparedness all the more crucial, particularly for those in low-lying and flood-prone regions. Crop producers are advised to harvest any mature crops and meticulously document their yields. Storing harvested crops in cool, dry conditions is essential to prevent spoilage. Clearing drainage systems is also recommended to mitigate waterlogging. For farmers, utilizing greenhouses or cover structures, removing protective coverings, and securing equipment and supplies are key steps. Additionally, documenting crops and reinforcing structures against potential high winds can minimize losses. Livestock producers are urged to prioritize the safety of their animals by relocating them to secure areas and ensuring an ample supply of feed and water. A thorough head count of livestock is crucial, as is preparing shelters to withstand the severe weather conditions. In terms of farm inputs, securing machinery and relocating pesticides and containers to prevent contamination, especially in flood-prone areas, are vital steps. To ensure farmers have access to support during this critical time, the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise has provided emergency contact numbers for each district, which can be found below. These resources are available to offer guidance and assistance as needed. And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
This plan, I can't left this plan. Smart Belize.
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't left this plan. I can't left this plan.
Prime Minister Honorable John Rosenio departed the country over the weekend en route to Panama City, Panama, to attend the presidential transfer of command ceremony of the newly elected His Excellency Jose Raul Molina Quintero on the 1st of July 2024. The Prime Minister returns to Belize on Wednesday, the 3rd of July 2024, and during his absence, Honorable Cordell Hyde, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Natural Resources, Mining and Petroleum, will hold over as Prime Minister. The excessive rains over the weekend affected many scheduled events around the country. However, for a small group of ladies, the bad weather did not disrupt their graduation plans. They received their certificate after completing a 10-week cake-making course in the village of Shaibe. The group was trained by experienced patier Marina Cowell.
Bueno, pues somos aquí de Shaibe, entonces pues un día vino en Miss Fanny Tun, creo todos la conocen aquí en Shaibe, y ella tiene un women's group, entonces ella es la presidenta de ese women's group. Entonces conseguí la invitación, la motivación también, por decir, por ella, porque ella me dijo pues que ella tenía unas señoras que les gustaría aprender a hacer pastel. Entonces, pues ella sabe que aquí en Shaibe, pues yo hago pasteles, y entonces ella me dice que tiene estas mujeres y que si a mí no me gustaría darles clases, pues al principio sí tuve un poquito de miedo. Ajá, y pues le dije que estaba bien. Entonces ella pues me dijo que haga yo una lista o algo de cómo lo podemos trabajar. Entonces quedamos de acuerdo que se va a hacer en nombre de Marina World of Pastries y de su women's group de ella, que es Diamond Divas. Entonces pues decidimos hacer un curso un curso de principiantes, pastel básico, que fueron 10 semanas, 10 semanas, entonces se hacía los domingos, domingos por la tarde, y pues cada domingo aprendíamos una clase, grabábamos una clase, entonces empezamos con plain cake, después nos fuimos a cupcakes, decorando cupcakes, después nos fuimos a decorando pasteles, en pineapple upside down, en pastel imposible, en tres leches, mocha cake, en Hershey cake y en cheesecake en postre y finalizamos con el black cake. Ajá, entonces pues ese fue las 10 semanas del curso.
As for the participants, they are glad to have made it through to the end of the course.
Pues mi experiencia, mis momentos sí fueron pocos difíciles. Sí, hay ratos que me ponía como a intentar todo lo que he aprendido en las clases, pero sí me he dado por vencida, pero sí corro en camino que sí puedo.
¿Qué es lo que más te gustó de tomar este curso?
Pues aprendes cosas nuevas, allá te vas a dar cuenta que puedes hacer tu propio negocio, puedes como decir, si eres madre, quieres estar con tus hijos en tu casa, puedes tener tu negocio al lado de tus hijos, no abandonar.
Pues yo les recomiendo, mujeres, muchachas, jóvenes con hijos, que se animen, que vengan, porque es un buen curso para agarrar, para que nosotros como mujeres nos podamos defender solas. Y les animo que vengan porque es un curso, es una experiencia bonito. Convivimos, practicamos, horneamos, de todo. Y es algo que nunca se van a arrepentir porque si yo estoy en mi casa, yo lo puedo hacer. No tengo dinero, horneo mi pastel, lo vendo, saco mi dinerito ahí. Y les comparto nuevamente que es una experiencia hermosa, un curso bastante productivo y les animo que vengan a Marina's World of Fisheries.
For Fanny Tun, the founder of Diamond Divas Women's Group, empowering women is her main focus.
Y pues yo motivo a las mujeres que aprendan a hacer pastel porque es una economía para ellos y en parte ellas se pueden defenderse de eso. También más para no tener que estar dependiendo de un hombre, ¿verdad? Nosotros las mujeres también podemos hacer algo y por eso yo decidí hacer este grupo de mujeres. Trabajo con señoras que son mamás solteras, mamás que no tienen recursos para mantener a su familia y más por eso me motivé para que se haga estos cursos para que ellas puedan aprender algo y depender de eso. Y hay señoras que ya aprendieron a hacer pasteles, ahora ellos venden pasteles y es algo bonito que ellos están haciendo.
¿Y Miss Tea García entiendo que vino a la ceremonia ayer?
Tenemos el apoyo también de Miss Tea García. Ella es una de las personas que nos ayudan en el grupo cuando necesitamos algo. Ella siempre está para ayudarnos.
If you are interested in learning this line of work and your cohort will take the course soon, for more information you can reach out to Marina Koa at telephone number 662-7174. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Tuesday, July 2nd here on Ctv3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News BZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at Ctv3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.